Our awards for tonight. I want to start though, first of all, again, welcoming everyone and let you know that this event is being live streamed on our website, ozarkradionews.com. You can see it there, and I assume in days ahead, if you want to have relatives who didn't know about this, they can go to the website and look at it, right?
Yep.
So if you've got friends, family that would like to see this event and see these young people, it'll be on our website, ozarkradionews.com. And it'll be up there for your viewing pleasure. It's live right now. We want to say thank you to our sponsors. Now to the very top, we want to say a huge thank you to our event sponsor for this event, and that is CHC Home Center, Bull in Houston. And Chris, we sure appreciate that. Over here. Thanks, Chris. Appreciate it. Thanks for being our event sponsor. To have events like this, you've really got to have the support of the people in these communities, and we have always found that we have great business communities that support of our area schools, and they're always there ready to step up anytime. So Chris, thank you so much, and CHC so much for being our event sponsor for our banquet tonight. We also have, on the front of the program, you see, we have platinum sponsors for this event, and they include Physical Therapy Specialist Clinic. It's good to have Vince and Tony here with us, here at our front table. Also, thanks to Justin Shelby, State Farm Insurance. He has offices in both West Plains and in Houston. And Taylor Grubaugh Chevrolet here in West Plains is one of our sponsors. Taylor's not here, but Paul's here.
Paul's here.
Paul's here. Is he there?
Yep. First time, but I'm here.
All right. Table sponsors for this event. As you'll see, we've got some wonderful table decorations, and we're so grateful to our decoration sponsors and our table sponsors. First of all, our table sponsors for the variety of towns included from Ava, Emerson Climate Technologies, and Missouri Ozarks Community Health. From West Plains, Rick's Truck Repair, the Ranch House, Butler Heating and Air, and Leonardo DRS, Mountain Grove, Weir Ford, and RV. Thanks also from Mountain Home, Fred's Fish House, and Deatley Dental Care. In Thayer, Mills Excavating and Hauling, Roger Foley Shelter Insurance, Subway of Thayer, and Thayer Decorating Center. In Salem, Arkansas, Fulton County Title, LLC, and Tri-County Medical Supply. Our thanks also in Highland, Toomey PC Repair, and North Arkansas Electric Cooperative Incorporated, Mountain View, Birch Tree, Collins Tire and Auto, Champs Fitness, Willow Springs, Willow Funeral Home, LLC, Foster Auto Body and Muffler, Mid-Ozark Insurance, and Prevett Law Office. Now, at your tables, you have place settings there, and at your table, if you have the little gold, like a ball up in the upper right-hand corner, I think, if you've got that on your place setting, you get to take the setting home with you. Is that not right? Are we good? Good? All right. So if that's the one that's sitting in front of you, don't take it away from anybody. But if it's right in front of you, then you get the place setting. You get to take that home with you. Our decoration sponsors for this event include Kabul Florist at Mrs. Fagan's, Salem Flower Shop, also Mammoth Spring Floral, Angel Garden in Mountain View, the Rose Trellis in Highlands, Little House Gifts and more in Houston, 3C Studio and Flower Market in West Plains, Ava Blooming Blessings, along with Spiceberry Flowers and Gifts in Mountain Grove, Bouquet Palace in Mountain Home, and Vintage Floral in Willow Springs. So we are so grateful to all our sponsors who make it possible for us to have this event. Could we give them all a little hand here before we get started tonight? Thank you all very, very much. Okay, so for those old-timers, they pretty much understand how this works. For the newbies, which is the majority of you, what we'll do is we will call a school up, we'll say Thayer football, and at that point, if you're part of the Thayer football group, you go ahead and stand and please come forward. We will hand you your plaques, and you will stand kind of back off to the side while your coach tells everybody about you. Then when we're done, as the coach heads back to the table, we'll go over here and against that wall. Dan Williams will take a photo so that we can come up with a collage of the athletes here. So that's pretty much all there is to it. And once it gets rolling, it rolls pretty good. I got threatened. I was told Yellowstone was on tonight. So I guess we probably better get started. So we're going to have Gary Lee kick off the first awards. And I'm going to hit silent on his phone.
Well, again, good evening, and it's always a lot of fun doing this and you know, getting to visit with the coaches. Friday mornings on Q94, I've been doing a coaches show for, I don't know, way long time, but all these coaches in this room, most of them will join me, and I really truly appreciate you guys taking that time out to visit with me and share the word about your team and your upcoming game. Each and every Friday morning. So let's get this going right here. We'll start with your Class 1, making it to the semifinals, Billy Weber and the Thayer Bobcats. And his two players, Landry Pitts and Lane Grimes.
Lane's here on the left. We'll talk about him first. Lane has played wide receiver for us for 3 years, D-back also. You know, he's been an all-area, all-district, all conference player for us. Had a really fine year this year, right at 600 yards, or actually 700 yards or over 700 receiving, about 300 rushing. Played a wide receiver and kind of was Landry's go-to guy. Has played corner for us up until this year. Moved him to safety back there, and then he had about 85 tackles at the safety spot and 5 picks, I think. And then Landry played quarterback this year, which he played about 7 games at quarterback last year, and then finished the season at tight end. And he's been, again, all area, all conference, all district. Ended up making second team All-State at the defensive end this year. Ended up third in tackles on our team with 104 tackles. And, you know, for the quarterback to have 104 tackles, he's a pretty good player. And these two guys have really been fine players for us, fine examples of what we're looking in guys. They don't miss the weight room. They come every day. They don't have excuses. You know, they're putting in their time and making sure they're doing their job and then setting a great example for everybody on our football team. And that's kind of what made us go was guys like these two guys, and they were part of a really good senior class, but these two guys probably were the exception because they didn't take any days off. They were there every day, putting time in with great effort, and you know, that's what made the difference down the stretch for us, and these guys have been a huge part of it, really for 4 years, you know, and I should have done a little more homework and put out a number of how many wins and losses they've been a part of, but it's really been an incredible run for these two young men. Let's give them a hand.
I can tell you how many losses in football, not many. That's for sure. Okay, now let's move to the Ava Bears. And I first want to apologize to Bailey Loach. That was my oversight. I didn't catch that on the program, but knew all along it was going to be Bailey. Bailey Loach is the volleyball coach at Ava High School. Bailey, would you please come up and bring your players, Balin Alexander and Lauren Hall, please.
is my first time being here. This is only my second year coaching at Ava. So just thank you so much for having us and inviting us here. I have a long list of great things I can say about Balin. But volleyball-wise, she played outside for us. She could also be thrown in at any given time at any single position. And I think that's what makes her such a cool volleyball player. But outside of that, outside of her being a great athlete, she's an excellent student and a phenomenal young lady. She is the leader of her team, and not always in the outspoken traditional sense, but always in the lead by example way. I would say that her team captain role really suited her this year. She was at everything this summer and always wanted to encourage her teammates. And I would say for a coaching, or from a coaching standpoint, whenever you have a player as selfless as Balin, as coachable as her, and just as encouraging and positive as she is, that's what you want in your athletes. I didn't do any homework either on her stats, but I will say that her presence on the floor is something that can't be replaced by just anyone, and we're really going to miss her. And I'm very fortunate to have had the chance to coach her for the past 2 years. But yeah, thank you so much.
Football for the Ava Bears, head coach Daniel Swafford. His players this year are Spencer Skyles and Jacob Leakey.
Hello. I think last time I got up here, I rambled on forever. My wife gave me a technical lecture last time. Cut it out. All right, so I'm trying to keep it short and sweet. All right, but first I just want to say thanks to Harlan and Gary and what you guys do here and just making sports and football important in Southwest Missouri. It's a special place here in our area. And we have some really good football here tonight. I get a chance to go out and see a lot of football and talk to a lot of guys. And I don't know that, overall, we're one of the best areas of football in the state of Missouri as far as I'm concerned. Two guys I want to talk to you tonight about is Jacob Leakey and Spencer Skyles. I'll start with Jacob. He's on the right there. Jacob played center for us. He is an outstanding football player. He's a weight room guy, okay, and well, both of these guys are. And I kind of thought about what Billy just said about how those guys work. I could repeat the same thing for those guys. They didn't make excuses. Jacob, he's I don't know how to say it exactly, he just doesn't miss in practice, doesn't miss the weight room, and that's what makes these guys special. I wish I could tell all the young guys here, but most of you guys already know that or you wouldn't be here tonight. Jacob has played all 4 years for us. He played in the state championship when he was a sophomore, played in a lot of games, won a lot of games. One of the most dangerous centers as far as I'm concerned in Southwest Missouri in all levels. He could get up on the linebacker and stay on him and put him on the ground in a hurry. And he made us very successful with why we are successful. Jacob has been all conference. He was lineman of the year this year and just received all state. So we're really proud of what he did, and I'm just going to say, great job, Mom and Dad, on raising him. Next one is Spencer Skyles. Spencer, as well, has played all 4 years. He has played in the state championship game. He's a very dangerous player, you might say. And when he gets the ball in his hand, and especially this year, he ran with dominance. And we are really proud of him, and I am proud of him because when you're a coach, you sometimes worry, am I going to get the most out of a guy? He was the guy in junior high. You all know what I'm talking about. The guy that everybody had to stop. It came easy for him. And I was always concerned that would he reach his full potential? he got coached really hard these last 4 years. And sometimes we butted heads, but I'm gonna tell you, this dude really played great football this year. I couldn't be more proud of him. He's been all conference, many times, and this year he received All-State as a defensive back. And so I couldn't be more proud of these guys. Made me think of something, Billy, when you was talking, 42 wins in 4 years for these guys. And that's a lot of wins. So be proud of that, fellas. And just thank you for everything you've done. And thank you, Spencer's mom. Good job. All right, you did an awesome job. Congratulations. So thank you very much.
And up next, we're going to go to Kabul, and Janet Reeves, assistant coach, Janice Reeves is stepping in for Julia, and the two players, Lexus Hunter and Haley Shannon.
As you said, I am Janice Reeves. I am the assistant coach. My daughter, Julia, is the head coach, and she couldn't be here tonight, and she really thinks a lot of these two girls, and so I'm speaking for her tonight. So I have it all written down ahead of time, all that, for that reason, so I get it right. But she has been with these girls since junior high. She started with them in 8th grade, and so they are very special to her. This was a rebuilding year for us. Last year, we graduated 8 seniors, so these were our 2 remaining players off of that team, and they are a huge part of our team. Without them, our team would not have been able to do as well as we did. We ended our season at 15, 18, and 2, and we ended up second in districts. So they have played for a district championship every year that they've been in high school. So I was really proud of them. And I've been with them since their freshman year, so that's been a pleasure for me. The 2 players tonight, I would start with Haley Shannon. She's on the outside. She was an outside left-handed hitter. Kills 377 this year. Digs 428. Aces 56. A 94.3% serving percentage with 56 aces. She had 9 blocks, 134 assists because she took over some of the roles throughout the year. She ended up 11th in state in kills for a tie there, and she was 17th in state in digs. She was first team all district, first team all conference. She's a rotation player. She's just one of those real athletes that you're always a pleasure to coach. Haley plans to go into education and one day hopes to be a Lexus Hunter. She was a middle hitter until we needed her to be a center. So they got to play Rose on here. She had 257 kills, 318 digs, 41 blocks, assists were 213. Her serving percentage was 92.4, and she had 92 aces, 92% aces of those. She was tied for 15th in the state with her blocks this year. She was all-state as a junior. She played she played middle for us and also set for us this year. She was a 6 rotation player. She was second team all district, second team all conference this year. Finished in the top 15% of the state in blocks. Alexis plans to go into education and also be a teacher and coach is what she's planning to do. So I just really appreciate them and them allowing me to be a part of their season. Thank you.
And up next, Kabul football. Head coach Tyler Spittler with Big Ed Swizlowski and Braxton Davis.
Thanks for having me. Where to start with these two? I was very fortunate to be able to coach these two for 3 years. I took over their sophomore year, and they've just been the guys for it. They both started all through since they were sophomores, multiple awards. I think they've both been all conference, all district, all area, all 3 years. Eddie's a 2-time All-Stater, and they're just phenomenal kids. In the classroom and everything else is part of our program. They're both academic All-State this year. I don't think they knew that yet. So congrats, guys. We haven't announced it, but that just kind of tells you what kind of kids there are. Braxton's going to be the valedictorian. So as far as program goes, these are the kind of guys you want. So that's why they're here. They're just phenomenal players for us. They did pretty much everything for us this year. Braxton literally played, I think, every position on defense at one point, and he was our whole offense. Ran for almost 1,400 yards, and everybody knew he was getting the ball, but he still had a lot of success, mainly because he was running behind this guy. And they're both phenomenal. Proud to coach them. Just great kids. We can't say enough good things about them. Yeah, that's all I got. Thank you.
And up next, we're going to Arkansas. We're going to Highland with Coach JoBeth Webb and her 2 players, Bailey Dumay, okay, and Jessica Mendez.
Bailey's name gets butchered quite often, so it's kind of a team joke. Our program is relatively new as well. I would say less than 10 years old, and this is my 4th year at Highland. This year we have 8 seniors, so we finished 500, which is, I think, quite an accomplishment for such a young program, and what is arguably one of the toughest conferences in the state. We play with Valley View and Brooklyn, and they're in the finals every year for the last 16 years. So thankfully Valley View goes out next year, so the rest of us have a chance. But Bailey and Jessica, I went this year all defense. Jessica is our libero. She's the short one. She led, obviously, the team in digs, but she also was ranked in our conference with her defensive statistics. I think at one point she might have even been as high as 3rd. And then Bailey, I told her I wasn't going to tease her about it, but I lied. She's only been playing volleyball for 2 years because of previous coaching situations. They weren't allowed to play, but we had some coaching changes, and then some of the other athletes were allowed to give volleyball a try. And so I jokingly called her as she progressed. I'm like, you're an 8.5 grader. And then at the beginning of the season, she was like a 10th grader. Well, by the end of the year, she was definitely a senior. She's earned this spot to be standing here. She's one of the best blockers on our team. She had to play against the very best in the state, night in and night out, and she held her own. So I'm proud of her for that. I just wanted to recognize both of these kids in this environment and let them know how much they've done for the program, and we look forward in the future to going even further in the positive direction. Thank you, Harvard, for including us. Thank you.
And now Highland football, Coach Carr Hill with Wyatt Goodman and Grayson Gibson.
I'm here, my name's Carr Hill, and I'm assistant coach at Highland. I'm here filling in for Clay Williams, our head coach. I'll talk about Grayson Gibson first. I'm his offensive line coach, and I'll just say it's been a privilege and a pleasure to coach this young man. He was a leader on and off the field, great kid. This is my 3rd year coaching, and it has been a true pleasure to coach Grayson. One of the better players that on the offensive line that I've gotten the privilege to coach, and I know that like to think that he learned some things from me, and I've also learned some things from him. And as far as being a good, kid, you won't find a better one. And Wyatt Goodman, he played quarterback for us. Great, also another great kid. Is looking at talking to a few colleges. May possibly want to play somewhere in football and baseball. And I'm real proud of both of them, and it's been an honor to coach you guys. And, I wish you luck at the next level.
Next up is West Plains Volleyball. Could we have Coach Haley Beasley come forward with her players Mia Thomas and Savannah Smart?
Hello, these two are easy to brag about. I'll start with Mia. Mia is a junior and she's been playing varsity since her freshman year. Mia is such a versatile player. She has played middle, outside, right side, setter. She does pretty much whatever we need her to do, and she does it well with a smile on her face. This year she was our assist leader and was second in kills. She received honorable mention, all Ozark Conference, and second team all district. Savannah is a senior, and she was our libero this year. I wasn't sure how that would go with her being libero because she's pretty quiet and you need to be vocal. And we talked a lot about her being louder and a ball hog, and she stepped into that role really well. She was our team leader in digs and receptions. She was on the all-tournament team this summer at our Branson camp. Both of these girls are great athletes, but even better teammates. They both are positive and lift their teammates up and support each other. So it's been an honor to coach both of them.
All right, West Plains football is up next, and Coach Matt Perkins couldn't be here tonight, so filling in for him is Coach Jared Girdley. And the players for West Plains football this year are Magnus Sanders and Blake Reed.
Coach Perkins actually prepared a speech, if you will, because I did not have any idea we were going to be doing this evening. But we'll go ahead and at least skim a little bit of it. First, he apologized for not being able to be here. There was some scheduling conflicts that came up. He wasn't going to be able to make it. These two players before you are kind of the epitome of West Plains football because of just the grit. They do a thankless job day in, day out. Don't get very much credit being on the line. I had the pleasure of being the lineman coach this year, and they made it a lot of fun. A lot of fun. Not always as serious as what we should have been, but it was a lot. It brought you joy coming to practice, at least, from my standpoint. I don't know about you. You guys have friends. Blake, 3-year starter. One of the best pulling guards that I've seen, and definitely the best ones I've got to coach. Many awards. Mag, I tell my Mighty Mike players all the time that the number one important spot on the football field starts with the center. And I still hold true to that. He did a very good job for us. Always there, never bad mistakes. You could always count on him. And once again, as being a quarterback, whenever I was a kid, I know how important that is to have, as you can see, some meat in front of you. and they don't get enough credit. But yeah, that's all I got.
Let's go to Pantherville, Mountain Grove. And volleyball coach Ashley Martin with Claire Phelper and Addie Welch.
Thank you for having us. We got Claire Phelper right here by me, and then Addie on the outside. I'll start with Claire. She's our libero. I know she probably looks like an outsider middle. She's our libero. Great leader, just a workhorse for us. Always willing to do whatever it took to make me happy. And she finished, I didn't bring stats like a lot of youth, but statistically, she finished with about 450 digs on the season, which was pretty good because she averaged just about 3 or 4 rotations. She was not a 6-rotation libero for us. So she had a lot of digs. Great teammate, great player, really good at school. She does well at school. Both of them actually were academic All-State all 4 years, so congrats, and that has not been released, I don't think. But congrats, you made it again this year. Addie Welch, our setter on the outside, for you football guys, she's our quarterback. Runs the offense, and just a stellar kid on and off the court. She was our team captain, our speaking captain, and everything that you want in a kid and an athlete, both of these girls have it, and we're going to miss them, but we are so excited to cheer them on in the next chapter of their lives. So.
Mountain Grove football head coach Brandon Rogers and Bryce Stenzel and Gus McPherson.
All right, these two guys, they started with me 4 years ago when I took over the Mountain Grove program, and we've definitely went through our ups and downs. When you have an 0-10 season, it's easy for somebody to give up on you and quit on you. But these two guys, they were totally the opposite. They picked up the pace. They're everyday guys. One thing I always said about Gus is, I always say if you're 15 minutes early, you're late. Well, I pull in the weight room every summer, and he beats me there. And that's just what kind of guy he is. Bryce, I think it was in the championship game, district championship game, he gets hurt, and they said Bryce is out, and I didn't even ask, I didn't even say, I said, he'll be back in a few plays. And sure enough, he was back. Because that's who he is. They're tough, they're both all-conference players, but they are what I need my program to be. I hope that the younger kids, and I think that they do, look up to these guys because they are very special, and they've been special Panthers. Gus here is academic All-State. I told him the other day in the hallway, but you guys all need to know that. Bryce is a great student. He plays 3 sports. He's a Panther. And they, from 0-10, 8-3 in district championship, and it has everything to do with kids like these guys. So I'm very proud of you guys. Thank
you. We're just making sure Lindsay Jensen and Carson Schmitz from Mountain Home were volleyball selections, but neither they or their coach Jill Day is able to be here tonight. But we're going to make sure they get their plaques because we're going to put them in The reliable hands of the man coming up to speak now. The head coach of the Mountain Home Bomber football team, Coach Steve Airy, and his players, Brody Patterson and Alex Pizzamenti.
These are my guys. Most of you don't know anything about Mountain Home football, but it's kind of been down for some years. But we're starting to get it going, and a lot of us do these two guys. You know, we ended up finishing in the top 8 of the state the last 2 years. We got in the playoffs both years and ended up knocking off a higher seed. We knocked off a 3 seed this year to get in the second round. So I don't know when's the last time Mountain Home has finished top 8 in the state. Well, some people told me they never have, so I don't know. So anyway, these guys finished high, not as high as they wanted to finish, but they finished high. And the thing I want to do is just brag on them a little bit. They're program guys. This is my second year, so obviously you got to base your program on your work ethic, and those guys have done that. To my left, the guy to the left, to my right there, raise your hand, Patty. Brody Patterson. He was free safety for us, our best player, return guy, receiver, kickoff returns, punt returns. He can do it all. He's going to have an opportunity to play the next level in football and track. He's got offers in both areas, but he finished with 122 tackles, 2 forced fumbles, 1 interception, and I'm missing 8 pass deflections. So that's our free safety, Brody Patterson. The big guy's Alex Pizzamenti. Alex is, again, one of the guys that you just can't replace. You guys have all got them. You seniors, you don't even know how much impact you make on those guys in the lower classes. So you're here because you're special. Both these guys are special to our programs. And Alex was an offensive tackle for us that had to take a center's job this year because of injuries and so forth. But he came in and snapped the ball and ended up with 65 pancakes on the season. So he's a grave digger, my kind of guy. And he's got 8 offers on the table in football right now, so he'll continue playing football someplace. But proud to bring these guys to tonight. Brody Patterson, Alex Pizzamenti, thank you for your service.
Okay, next up will be Salem High School, the Salem Greyhounds. I promised that I would let them kind of sit back and soak it in and kind of get an idea. Now you know, you've seen some of the best up here doing this. Let's start with volleyball. We'll have Coach Lena Smith please come forward from Salem, along with her players Kyla Stevens and Madeline Miller.
Thank you for having us. This is our first year with the Banquet. We're honored to be here. It's always great to be able to recognize our athletes. Kyla Stevens on the far right, we've been together 5 years, and that's the length of our program. She's helped build this program. She's been a leader on the court and off the court. She's a force at the net. She's had 475 attack attempts, 203 kills, and she does it all with a smile on her face the entire time. So she's been a great example for all the other players coming up through her program. Maddie Miller, she's a junior. She was in the back. They're a great combination together. You had Kyle at the net. You had Maddie in the back. I like the analogy that your setter is your quarterback because she has to know who's on and who's not on that night, and she's got to be able to read the court. She had 588 ball handling attempts, 238 digs, and 216 assists. On and off the court, they're great. Kyla has a 3.97 GPA. Maddie has a 4.0. And so they're getting it done not only in the classroom, but on the court. And I'm very proud of them. Thank you.
football side of it from Salem High School. Let's welcome Coach Josh Watson and his players Tyler Siddons and Elijah Romite.
Thank you all for including us in this year. We're excited to bring our kids up here and get them some recognition. First, I'd like to start off with the youngest of my kids up here, Elijah Romite. He's a sophomore for us this year. Elijah's been a kid that's been in the program for us all through junior high and high school so far, and he worked extremely hard for us. Last year in the 9th grade, we moved him up week 5 to senior high action. He led us in senior high in rushing last year as a freshman, and led us in tackles in the 5 games he played during the regular season last year also. But this year, he tore his labrum during the preseason scrimmage against Highland on the 3rd play. He played throughout the year on it. We tried to baby it for a little while, but then it came down, we had to win. And so he went out there, started on defense, starting week 5, and had 51 tackles after week 5 and 5 tackles for loss. Offensively, he had 900 yards rushing on 128 carries, and he had 202 receiving yards on 12 receptions. So he was sort of a do-it-all guy for us on offense that really toughed it out for us, and he's one of our hardest workers. He's a kid that still has a lot to learn football-wise, but he's going to be a great player for us and has done a great job and has helped lead us to our success we've had. The other guy up here, Tyler Siddons, he is a senior this year. He's an all-state player. He's he's signing with UCA on Wednesday. He had 33 receptions for 491 yards and 7 touchdowns. And he had 70 tackles, 15 tackles for loss, and 11 sacks on the defensive line. And he also kicked onside kicks for us when we did that. So he was a big part of what we do. But it's more than just what he did on the field. He's an off-field type guy. He is the example of what Greyhound football, what I want it to be, and what I want our younger kids to look up to. He's in the weight room all the time. When he's not playing basketball, which he's doing now, and when he's not throwing the shot or disc, he's just a really hard worker, great kid, and just what we want Greyhound football to be. So if you give these 2 kids a round of applause.
Let me just add to, again, a big thanks to CHC Home Centers in Cool and Houston for being our event sponsor for this, and also to our platinum sponsors, Physical Therapy Specialist Clinic, along with State Farm Insurance, Justin Shelby, and Taylor Grubaugh Chevrolet. We so appreciate it. Plus all the other sponsors you see listed on the back as decoration and table sponsors. We are greatly appreciative of all of them. Now for Willow Springs Volleyball, Coach Christina Collins and players Liz Sheehan and Lily Bolander.
Okay, I'm gonna start with Liz Sheehan. She is in the black. She is a senior this year for us, and she played varsity last year and this year. She was number 1 in our Willow Springs. She had 297 digs. She almost had 1,000 sets. She received the ball 255 times, and she had 38 aces. Liz was our team captain this year. I never had to worry about her hustling sometimes. You don't ever want to get onto your player for hustling, but sometimes she hustled too much over some balls she shouldn't even hustled after, but she went after it and dove, and she was always bruised everywhere because she was always hustling and going after balls. So I never had to worry about her doing that. She was a 6th rotation for us. She played setter. She played all around, did everything on that. Last year, she received academic all-state. She had honorable mention in FCA,
This year, she got SCA honorable mention and second team all district. Lily is a junior. She played varsity last year. She started out as JV and then I moved her up. So she ended up with varsity with us. She started varsity and stayed varsity this year. She will hopefully play varsity again next year. Lily is another one that always does anything for me, anything I ask. She had hurt her ankle one game and I was getting on to her and yelling at her because she wasn't blocking or hitting hard, and she never said anything to me, and nobody said anything, and then we got into the locker room, and she couldn't even walk on it to get into the locker room. She got up and kept playing, and when we got in there, her ankle was so big, and she just took it and kept playing. She has hurt it a couple more times, but she still gets out there and plays and doesn't worry about it. We always tape it or do something so she can get out there. She does not want to miss a game, which I'm thankful for. Lily is another 6th rotation for us. She plays our middle. If I had enough players, I would keep Lily in the back row for us. She is an excellent passer. She'll go after every ball. She can pass really, really good, but she also blocks. So she is our #1 in block and solo blocks together. She had 48. She was second in kills with 134, second in aces with 32, and she was second in digs with 241.
One thing about it, we have great coaches in this area. We really do. I don't mean just, pretty good coaches. We've got a lot of really, really good coaches. And that's been obvious from the time we started doing this, but as of this year, that has gone up a notch because we're able to welcome back home Willow Springs Bear that is coaching his school now. I did his games when he was in high school, but I think I probably did Moses' grandson's games when he was in high school. I mean, I've done it. But it's just so great to see him here tonight and be up here to talk about his kids, because I know that he's a passionate guy and does a wonderful job, and Willow Springs is awfully lucky to have landed him to be their head football coach. Please welcome Coach Joel Wyatt, his players Micah Statina and Landon Crutchington.
Thank you, Harlan. I'm Gary. Appreciate you guys putting this on. My first time here, and I'm very impressed with the way things are run here. It's a nice thing to, kind of end the season honoring our student athletes. Two guys I've got up here on the far right is Landon Crutchington. He was our right tackle. We started a left-handed quarterback, and as most of you know, you want your best tackle on the blind side. So Landon was over there on the right side. He was voted most outstanding lineman by his teammates. He played strong side tackle for us on the defensive side. So two-way starter. Just did a great job for us on both sides of the ball. He was second team all-conference on the offensive line. Honorable mention, all district, voted by his coaches. Micah Statina, nearest me. He was our Mike linebacker, called the defense for us, just set the table for us on that side of the ball. 115 tackles. He was our right guard, never came off the field, which is one of the reasons why he's lost 30 pounds since August. That's a fact. He's went down to 175, but just did a great job for us in the middle on defense and as well on the offensive side. Great players, but even better kids. Like a lot of these coaches said about their kids, these are everyday guys, weight room guys, show up every day. When you come to a new school, they don't know what to expect, and I've been out of the area for so long, I really didn't know what to expect, but You need more guys like these two if you ever want to get it turned. And when you come to a new school, one of the negatives is you only get those seniors for 1 year. That's always, I've been to 3 schools as a head coach, and you only get that senior class when you get there 1 year. And that's the sad part about it, because I only got to coach these two gentlemen for 1 year. Very blessed to be a part of their lives. Both of these guys are going to be successful in their careers on down the line. Whatever they choose to do, they're going to be successful. They're high character type of guys, and I'm very blessed to have coached them. Thank you.
All right, now, we'll go to my hometown. We're going to go to Liberty football with head coach Brock Kanagi and his 2 players, Noah Jester and Tanner Ripko.
All right, I'd like to thank you all for having this event. It's very nice to recognize our student athletes, and I'd like to thank all our parents. We talked about all the great coaches we have in the area, but without these great kids, we're very average students. And we're blessed to have all these great young people in our communities. 2 people I have here is Tanner Ripko on the right and Noah Jester on the left. They were our captains this year. They've been with me for the last 4 years. Of course, the last 2 years as head coach. Noah was all-district wide receiver the last 2 years. The last 2 years, he's had 115 receptions, almost 1,600 yards receiving, 22 touchdowns with a 15 yards per catch average. Really great player, and once again, he's that guy that comes to practice every day with a smile on his face and has made our team better. And the tall guy there on the right, Tanner, he had 57 receptions, 572 yards, 8 touchdowns, 9 yards per catch. He's been all district D-back for the last 2 years. This year he was an all-state kick returner. Kick return, he had 36 returns for 836 yards, 1 touchdown, with a 30-yard return average. These 2 guys have really been great players and great role models for our younger athletes. Thank you all.
And if we could, just take a moment to keep a Liberty football player in our prayers and for their family. Angel Lopez was injured, and he is doing a little bit better. But if we could just take a few seconds and just say a prayer, keep him and your family, his family, in your thoughts and prayers, please. Thank you. Up next, we've got Sherry Toon, the volleyball coach for the Liberty Eagles, and her 2 players, Kendall Woolsey and Lexi Hunter.
Good evening. Thank you guys for having us. This is always a blessing to, coaching is hard. So for us to get to handpick what we feel needs to be done to bring kids here and honor them for what they deserve to be, this is a blessing for us, because sometimes postseason honors or conference honors don't always dictate what coaches enjoy about respect and good parents. So this is on us, and this is what we love about it. I have one player that is like 10 minutes out She had a college visit today. I knew she had a college visit today, and I could have picked someone else, but if you guys know Lexi Shumpert, you don't want to pick anyone else. So I'm going to talk about Kenna first. Lexi might make it in for the picture, and she might not, but she's booking it to get here as much as she can. Liberty Volleyball. This season, I related to our season a lot like the Six Flags ride. You know, the Screaming Eagle. It's like this. That was us this year. We were really up. We were really down. We had a ton of new players. At some points, I was playing 2 or 3 freshmen. These two standing here, well, the two we mentioned, they were the only 2 veterans that we returned. All the other girls were younger that came back, and they were the glue, for sure. Luckily, we were on the really high part of the Screaming Eagle, right at district time. We went in as the 3rd seed, and somehow we had 2 major upsets, and we came out on top. So that was a true game for us that we will never forget. It was a fun moment. I'm not a crier. I did shed a few tears in that district championship. So out of 15 years, that's one I'll never forget. Kendall Woolsey, she is our senior libero. Kenna's played probably every position for me that you could think of besides middle. I don't think she ever got stuck in the middle position. This year we put her in the libero jersey. She had to fill some major shoes. We had Aspen Smotherman before her, a great all-state libero, and she did it. She stepped in. She was not scared. She wasn't hesitant. If you ever came to one of our games, you always heard her. If you didn't, you were not paying attention. Kenna cannot speak after a game. She has no voice left. And that's how it was every game. If we had lots of games through the week, she wasn't talking at all. So it made it really difficult for us sometimes, but she was always hoarse after a game, and that's just, she's nonstop talking. Kenna and Lexi are both up for top of the class. They're both valedictorian running right now, so another great addition to our program. Kenna was one of the top in the conference in digs. She just amazes me with what she can do. Great kid. Obviously, we can pat all of you parents on the back here because we picked your kids to be here, so you guys had to do a good job. But great kid. Both of these girls are just great athletes. Lexi is an outside hitter / setter for us. Lexi tore her ACL last December. Was released the day before our team camp in July, and would not let me take her out. I think we played 7 games in 2 days, and she played every single one of them. I'm not sure she could walk after that, but that's how she's been all season. She never slowed down. She had a long way to come back, to get back where she was last season, but she did that and plus some. Lexi was our assist leader. She was 2nd in kills. She played 6 rotations as well. Just great athletes. You guys know how it is. They're just fun kids to be around. But thank you guys for having us.
Now's good stuff, right?
Well, no, this is just as good as the other stuff. But before we get to the other stuff, and that is, as you see in the program, we'll announce our players of the year for both football and volleyball, and our coaches of the year here in just a little bit. I wanted to take a moment and say a big thank you to El Imperial Restaurant for being our caterer tonight. I think they did a fantastic job. Can we have a hand for El Imperial? Appreciate that very much. Also, want to again mention the fact that CHC Home Centers in Houston and Kabul are our event sponsor for this banquet. We thank them so very much. We also want to say a big thanks to the platinum sponsors, including Physical Therapy Specialist Clinic, along with State Farm Insurance, Justin Shelby, and Taylor Grubaugh Chevrolet. Thank you all so very much, along with all the other sponsors. And by the way, if you've got that placemat there in front of you, you've got the little gold sticker there in the upper right-hand corner, you get to take the table setting home with you. So you've been a big winner again. I want to take also a moment to remind you that if you want to see the banquet, you can watch it on our website, ozarkradionews.com, streaming live right now. but you'll be able to see the recording of it on our website. And if you have family and friends, I'm sure you'll have people, it doesn't matter where they are. I mean, they can go to our website and watch it and see these young people. So feel free to do that. It's our website is totally free at ozarkradionews.com. Okay, now we're going to gravitate over into some other stuff. We're going to start with our football coach of the year to start with. I mentioned a little while ago that we have so many great coaches in this area, and this gentleman really epitomizes that. And it's always nice to see good people have success, and that's certainly what you have with this gentleman and his football program. And another year of outstanding performance on their part. And one of the cool things, I think, is that when someone from our area, whether it's Ava or whether it be Willow Springs or whoever it is, when they get into the postseason, everybody else kind of jumps on and become fans of their program and root for them. And I know a lot of people were rooting for these guys as they went to the semifinals of the state playoffs. He is such a great coach. That's about all there is to it. Let's have a hand for our football coach of the year from Thayer, Mr. Billy Weber.
You know that this is a great honor because, you know, as everyone, as Gary said and Harlan said, we have tremendous coaches in this room. I mean, you know, all across the board, you know, in each county that we come from, you've got good folks. You know, and that's the thing, we don't, as Brock said, you know, we don't have success unless we've got good kids, and that comes from you parents. Making sure they're dedicated, and you know, it all boils down, as I said earlier, having guys like Lane and Landry that are committed, that want to do some work and are willing to do that work. Thank you guys for having this. Thank you.
Okay, our volleyball coach of the year. Well, she's done this before, multiple times, as a matter of fact. Another year, another trip to the state playoffs. I was thinking last night on my bus ride from Ottumwa, Iowa, and believe me, you got a lot of time to think when you're on a bus coming from Ottumwa, Iowa. But I got to thinking, how many people in this room that played high school sports never played in a state playoff game? I didn't. I played 4 years Bupkis. A lot of people never get the experience of getting to play in a postseason game. But when you're able not only to get there and then repeatedly able to return over the course of time, from a coaching standpoint, that's really something. You've really built something special when you've got it going to that extent. And we want to, and her program is obviously one of those. Back in the state playoffs again this year, and we want to say congratulations to our volleyball coach of the year from Liberty High School, Sherry Toon.
I feel like Coach Weber put the pressure on me, so I should say something too. Obviously, I always thank the big man above, and I've just got great athletes and great support at home, so I'm always truly thankful for that. Thank you.
Okay, now for our players of the year for football and volleyball. We'll start with football because we have two of them, both very deserving. Let's start with our first co-player of the year. This is actually, if you look at it from a little wider angle view, this is something that he's built over 2 years, because he jumped in and did a great job after an injury last year and drove the bus from game 1 this season and helped his team into, again, the state semifinals. And very well deserving. From Thayer High School, Landry Pitts. All right. Now, our other football player of the year, our co-player of the year. This season, I worked with, and have last couple of years, with Paul Knight over here. When Paul and I work together, he's usually keeping track of the play-by-play, and I'm able to watch, which is really neat, because if you're doing that, then you've got to keep your eye on the ball. You miss a lot of stuff. You miss a lot of really interesting stuff. And so this year, a lot of the time when Paul would be talking, I'd be watching West Plains offensive line. And every once in a while, I don't know what Paul thought. Sometimes I would tell him why I was laughing. But toward the end of a play or in the middle of the play, I would start laughing, because I would see what would happen when one of our linemen pulled around the corner and got hold of a cornerback or a defensive end. And it was very unfortunate for them in most cases. And this guy, you know, I enjoy the fact that we're able, doing this, to recognize the talent and skill of people who play on the line of scrimmage. That is a definite skill. You hear the term skill players that, you know, catch the ball, throw the ball. It's not just them. The offensive line, defensive line players have skills of their own. And the ones that are really good really stand out. And I've been doing football games for almost 30 years. I can't think of a guy, a guard, that has impressed me more than watching this kid play the last 2 years. I don't know what his plans are, but if he goes to the next level, you are getting a whale of a football player. Our co-player of the year from West Plains High School, please, a nice hand for a very well deserving recipient, Mr. Blake Reed.
Well, our final award of the night, and it is our Player of the Year in volleyball. And this young lady, as we heard, you know, she got hurt last year and had to come back from an injury, and some of you have dealt with that, and you know how hard it is to rehab and fight your way back. But she really excelled on the floor this year. Lexus Hunter.
Folks, again, we thank you all very much for coming tonight. We kind of stalled a little bit just to make sure we could get Alexi up there with her award. But thank you all for coming, and thanks again, all you coaches, all of our sponsors. Thank you so much. Please come again next year, have a safe trip home, and watch out for deer.